The heritage of traditional wooden boat building in Carriacou and Petite Martinique dates back almost 2 centuries. After the periods of emancipation and subsequent apprenticeship of African slaves from 1834 to 1838 ended, indentured labourers arriving from Scotland settled in coastal, deep-water villages such as Windward, where they would go on to integrate themselves and pass on their knowledge as shipwrights to the local communities. These vessels, constructed with very simple, unsophisticated tools, were used exclusively to facilitate trade between the islands for decades to come.
A schooner is a boat with 2 masts, right? Well, 2 masts, well, the one to the back is much taller than the one to the front, right? They used to build schooners for like doing trading and things like that. From Trinidad, well, they used to go all around the Caribbean, as far as Tortola. They used to carry things like colas, bitumen, even gasoline and things like that. When you're building a vessel carrying cargo, you have to build it real strong. You have to be strong and have a lot of room inside of it, so you could carry a certain amount of cargo, so you could make a couple dollars out of it, because you see, the more carry you carry, the more money you're going to get and all these kinds of things like that.
I was there from little boy, 13, 14, going up, and I started racing myself on some of the sloops, and then I come to fall in love with the smaller boats. I need the water to wet me, so when the water wet me, I feel good. And I own around 13, 14 small boats, but one at a time. When one getting old, because you know after a while they get old. I'll build another one over. One come out beating me a faster one. This is why I had to have fast boat all the time.
Modern developments such as motor engines and accessibility of new hull materials like metal and fiberglass gradually rendered these long-haul schooners and sloops less popular for large-scale trade, giving way to more time and cost-effective modes to transport. However, the enduring legacy merely evolved to reflect the need for smaller trade vessels and fishing vessels. Then, with the introduction of the Carriacou Regatta Festival in 1965 by Linton J. Riggs, currently the longest running in the Caribbean, a new, prolific period of wooden boat building was birthed due to the fierce rivalry and competition of the sailors, as their innovation and creativity sparked designs conceptualized to outperform the competition.
As one of the modern generation, I look to try different skills and style, different shape of boat building. I experiment a lot on them, and which I was very successful in them. I built a few of them small boats, and they're still dominating big way and the whole trial and state. The lighter you build a sailing craft, it's faster you're going to sail. So with that, I look to build them as light as possible. Comparing to them man long time, they're going to cut this whole big bunch of trees and big timbers to make them big, heavy. Because they're using them not only for sailing, like they're using them to go fish, to go up the island, to drill cargo and everything. So we only build a boat right now just to sail, like tourists.
The traditional sloop have a full keel. I shorten the keel and I give it a space between the rudder so she could turn like a laser, very fast like the new boats. And I make she pretty wide, more flat to the water for the wind, and stable. And he was doing the trick just right, straight from head. No blueprint, nothing. Go the first regatta, I was break the mast. The second regatta, come first. But then the older guys say, she too fast. It's not about the design, because you cannot design all the whole one. It's different builders. and everything modernized. Up to now, you could still see we're still going. We're not going back, we're supposed to go forward. You use your imagination to build what you feel is fast. So this is where you get different brain and different brain to bend.
An entrenched tradition of the wooden boat building process is the ensuing boat launch. This process is believed to function as an ancestral guide to the newly constructed vessels and is a true embodiment of community spirit.
Boat launching in Windward is usually a big occasion. Weeks before the boat is ready to launch, there is a lot of buzz throughout the whole village. Man, woman, and child would be actively involved because they have to do the preparation. The ladies would have to be responsible for getting the things for cooking because we cook a lot of food to feed the whole of Carriacou. A lady will be responsible for making a flag with the name of the boat that has to be revealed only when the boat is ready to be launched. So these are basically some of the preparation that will be taking place weeks before. A few days before the boat is launched, they have to put an anchor outside so that the anchor would be there for a few days so it could hold solid in the sand, because launching a boat in Windward is usually with manpower, using rope and pulleys, and most of the people involved, the men, even women, are usually there in the front to pull the boat out. The actual morning of the launching, it starts with a religious ceremony. The priest is usually involved, the choir would be there, and of course we have the string band music. The owner of the boat will unravel the flag to reveal the name, and that's with a lot of shout and clap and laughter and hippie-hooray and so. So the priests, they'll come down from the boat, and when they come down, the choir will continue singing. Everybody will be going round and round the boat, and people join in, clapping hands, singing all kind of Open La La, Is We Were There, and all these sort of jovial songs. A number of poles will be put up to keep the boat upright. So men with hatchets, the things will be numbered, and somebody would say 1, and everybody would make a good chop, and then the boat would, if you have 5 men, everybody cut at the same time, and the boat will go a little. Then they come again 1, and they hit it a chop, and the boat will go down a little. So it will go down slowly on the side. And when it gets on the side, that is the time it is ready for hauling into the sea. And then most of the people who have to pull, they would swim on board and go up on board, and they'll rock the boat. That's a nice part. Everybody will go on one side and the boat will go so. Then everybody will run back on that side, it goes so. They run back and, so entertainment for us and show. And after that, well, they have the sharing of the food, because it's usually the Saraka food, and that takes a day. It's a whole day activity. And people in Carriacou, even foreigners, a lot of the yachties, Petite Martinique, the island people, they usually come down, and it's just fun and merriment.
Culture is a people's way of life, how they live, things they do. Heritage highlights the practices handed down throughout the generations, their traditions and customs. The metamorphosis of traditional wooden boat building is reflected in the changing functionality and roles of the vessels to the economic, social, and recreational well-being of the people. The longevity of this deep-rooted practice is evident in the plethora of artistic expressions of the people within the communities of Carriacou and Petite Martinique through their poems, paintings, scaled model boats, and other renderings paying homage to this heritage. After 183 years of adaptation, this strong tradition has fostered a profound sense of ownership and pride in the custodians, actors, bearers, and practitioners so unique to the islands of Carriacou and Petite Martinique. And it will continue to endure for many more generations to come.